iPhone Fold! I have news about that, and clearly a lot of you guys don't care about the iPhone Fold since my last video on this topic absolutely bombed. But I think the iPhone Fold is pretty interesting. I'm waiting for Apple to make a foldable because they have the advantage of both controlling the hardware and software experience. And if there's one issue with the current foldables that of course are on the market, it's the fact that Android isn't built for tablet-like experiences. I mean, there is a reason why nobody sells Android tablets anymore, and that's because iPads were way better from the beginning. And so Apple has the advantage where they could use iPadOS on that bigger inner display and give us an overall better experience. Anyways, enough of me fanboying Apple. Let's delve into the story where apparently 2 foldable iPhone prototypes have reportedly passed internal durability tests. So this could mean good things for the iPhone Fold, and maybe this could mean we could see it as soon as 2021. No, we can't. We're not going to see it as soon as 2021, but it is good news regardless. And so without further ado, I thought I'd delve into this story and give you all the details. And so make sure to like and subscribe, click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. So I'll come clean, guys. This source in particular that gives us this story is Economic Daily News, and if you know something about this channel, I have ranted plenty of times about Economic Daily News and how unreliable they are. So quick refresher if you're new to this, 30%. That's the accuracy of Economic Daily News on Apple Track. 30%, okay? So they're very much at the bottom of the pile in terms of credibility. And also, let me remind you, they're the ones that claimed that the Apple Car would be coming out this year. So that pretty much tells you how reliable their information is, or the lack thereof. But not to worry people, because there is a glimpse of hope, and that is John Prosser. He tells us that his sources also corroborate with this report, and he has a much higher accuracy. So there is possibly a truth to this story, and so that's why I'm covering it today. Though, to be honest, the main reason I'm covering this is because there's no other story out there. It's just this. So, yeah. Anyways, delving into this report, basically, Economic Daily News tells us that Apple's been giving Foxconn 2 iPhone prototypes, 2 foldable iPhone prototypes to test for, of course, durability. Because we saw what happened with the original Galaxy Fold, the hinge kind of messed up and everything was just catastrophic. So clearly, Apple wants to avoid that with their own foldable, and so very severe tests are being done on these prototypes. Now, these 2 different form factors that are mentioned are actually based on existing form factors we have on the market. So one of them is going to be something like the Surface Duo. Essentially, it's going to be 2 iPhones stuck together with a hinge. So yeah, not the most exciting thing, but the other form factor is supposedly a Galaxy Z Flip style kind of foldable. So a clamshell device with a plastic screen that obviously can be folded up. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about both these form factors. I think personally Apple should go for something like the Galaxy Z Fold 2, a iPad-like experience on the inside and an iPhone on the outside. That would be perfect. But we'll have to wait and see what Apple does with these form factors. Maybe they can pull off some magic and kind of redefine these existing platforms. But anyways, going back to this report, basically, these form factors have passed with flying colors. Now, these weren't working prototypes, they apparently were shells, which basically means that they lack any internal components. They're pretty much the design, and that's about it. Because, of course, this was strictly only for durability testing, and so that basically tells us that this is very much early into the production cycle of this foldable. And in fact, this report tells us that we could expect these foldables at the very earliest in late 2022. So yes, we have quite a lot of waiting to do, and by then Samsung will probably have a quadruple folding foldable. So yes, Apple's going to be quite a bit behind, but hopefully, like I said, Apple could pull off some sort of magic and redefine this industry. Now, in terms of the prototype that resembles the Surface Duo that I'm not too amped about, John Prosser told us back in 2020 that apparently this foldable iPhone will have a hinge system that makes the panels look fairly continuous and seamless. Now, I'm not too sure how that works because a hinge is going to interrupt the experience is anything but seamless. So yeah, I guess we have to take his word for it. I guess we have to see it in person before we can really understand how that works. But hopefully Apple does come up with some sort of system where the hinge doesn't interrupt the overall viewing experience. Now, interestingly, there is actually a patent for this, and I tried looking and trying to delve into this patent, but I did not really understand any of it. So yes, Apple clearly has the tech. That's what we need to know. Apple has the tech for this magical hinge, and hopefully they implement it into this iPhone Fold. Okay, I know that a lot of you probably want to know what this technology is, and so using my thinking hat skills, I will try and figure this out. So, according to the patent, this technology has proximity sensors where basically when two screens get together, this proximity sensor technology will detect this, and then it will hold these devices together using magnetic components. Hopefully all of that made some sort of sense to you guys. If not, just read the article for yourself. As for the clamshell foldable, which we could call the iPhone Flip, that I'm not too sure about. I think Apple doesn't really need to give us a clamshell foldable like that because they have the iPhone 12 mini. You see, the whole point of having a clamshell device like that is you can have a big screen, but of course fold it up to a more compact size, so you have the best of both worlds. But with the existence of the iPhone 12 mini and it being just a great compact phone in general, I don't understand why Apple needs an iPhone Flip, and also what kind of edge can Apple have with an iPhone Flip over the competition? Because like I said, Apple could give us the edge with a Galaxy Fold or Surface Duo kind of foldable with, of course, iPadOS. iPadOS is going to be way better than the Android experience with the Galaxy Fold and the Surface Duo, and it's going to be way more reliable and way more efficient and ultimately way more fun to use. But with, of course, this iPhone Flip, that's not the case. Apple will just have to give us iOS, which will be pretty much the same as it is right now, except this phone just folds up. I just don't see much of a use for this. And so while it's cool and while it's something that's novel, I guess, I don't see what Apple's special touch can be on this form factor. And yes, I am aware that this foldable does come with an outer display and a bigger screen overall that you don't get with something like the iPhone 12 mini. But along with that, you have some compromises. For example, it's a more fragile device. It's obviously going to have durability issues and concerns. But also, like we've seen with the Galaxy Z Flip and of course the Moto Razr, the outer display is very restricted and you can only do a few things on it. And so ultimately, I don't think it's that useful to the consumer. It is also mentioned that Apple's going to be using the flexible OLED displays from Samsung. So essentially, if Apple made this iPhone Flip, it will just be a clone of the Galaxy Z Flip. And so again, I don't really see what Apple can add to that, and I don't really see a point in Apple making one. Now, interestingly, John's sources do mention that this flexible OLED display was used on only one of these prototypes, and so it is safe to assume that if Apple were to make an iPhone Flip, that would use the flexible OLED, but because the Surface Duo kind of foldable has of course a hinge, Apple can just use two iPhone screens essentially and give us a glass display, which of course will be way more durable. And I'm leaning towards that being the better option for Apple because Apple's going to sell a ton of these foldables, way more than any manufacturer does right now. And so if Apple were to use flexible plastic screens, there is a chance consumers could scratch or break these plastic screens, which would be a huge hassle for Apple to fix. So I think if Apple just wants to avoid all the controversy, just give a glass display on this foldable and that would be perfect. And yes, I am aware that Samsung's displays have got better over the last few months in terms of durability, but at the end of the day, glass is always going to be better than plastic, and so I think Apple should just play it safe with their first generation foldable. Now, thankfully, it does mention that after these tests, Apple's going to evaluate both form factors and ultimately decide on one. So there won't be a family of foldables like Samsung has. It's just going to be one, and they choose between these two form factors and see which one is best for them. hopefully it's a Surface Duo kind of foldable, because ultimately I want an iPad experience on the go, an iPad experience I can fold up and use as a phone. That just sounds like the dream, and so please, Timothy, make that happen. I am so amped for this. I know you guys probably aren't, because nobody on this channel cares about the iPhone Fold, but I clearly am. Please, I will throw as many monies as you want. Just make it happen. Anyways, that's pretty much it when it comes to this iPhone Fold story, and I'm assuming none of you guys are watching this, so is there even a point in doing the outro? I'm not really sure. If you're here, tell me if you're interested, and on that note, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, click that notification, check out a recent video in the icon above, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.